Hi guys, again, continuous subject administrative contract, topic BOT contract. BOT contract is a special administrative contract. Administrative contract, you remember, is a contract between public authority and private company or private sector in order to present public service or public entity. Contract peer-to-operate transfer is a special type of administrative contract. Actually, the private sector or foreign company to present all finance or design, and in another side to operating this is a project all the time or the time of the project, and the final to change the operating to the public authority. Peer-to-operate transfer contract, it means, is a contract model used to finance large projects, typically infrastructure projects developed through. Now we are talking what the meaning of peer-to-operate transfer, or abbreviation BOT, and it should to know the parties of this project, which kind of model of BOT, its characteristics, the advantage and disadvantage. Finally, we are talking a form of BOT projects. Broad definition of BOT or peer-to-operate transfer is a form of project financing wherein a private entity receives a concession from the private or public sector to finance, design, construct, and operate a facility stated in the concession. From this definition, this is a parties, public and private authority working together. So, a private sector or private entity or foreign company to give it everything to the public authority. Finance, design, construct, and next finish the building and operating this project, and to making everything to continue this project. In other sites, a public authority have lots of benefits from this project. All liability will risk with responsibility to the private sector, and the benefits of the public sector developed all infrastructures related to the housing, to the health, to the bridges, roads. Now we are talking BOT application in infrastructures on all projects of peer-to-operate transfer related to the infrastructures projects, and also in the peer-to-operate transfer framework a third party. For example, the public administration delegates to give it all authority, or the executive authority or government to give a private sector entity to design, build an infrastructure, and next operate this project, and to give it a private sector all facilities, all the rules, and sometimes it change this is rules. During this is project, the private party responsibility and carry all the damage, carry all the risk from finance, في design, في operating, and in other side have all revenue generated by the project. What about the public authority? The public authority to give it concession to a private sector without any remuneration of private entity. Now we are talking the build, operate, transfer parts. Before we are talking, actually, this is contract between especially or actually or definitely two persons, public sector or government or executive authority, and in another side, a private or a firm or foreign company. And we are talking, this is project build, operate, transfer, huge projects, because making and develop this is an infrastructure in the society. So needs lots of assets, needs a lot of resources, needs of money. Now, البارتس number one, الhost government. الhost government, actually, you know, any government in any state needs to serve all the infrastructures to the individuals. When to need or to save this is an infrastructure, it should to participate with private sector. In this case, the government provides normally support for the project, all facilities to make this project, like provision of the land, exchange laws. Second party of this is build, operate, transfer, الكونسيونير. The project needs a sponsor, need owner, need big companies to help to help a public authority to perform this subject. This is project. The project sponsors who act and concessionaire created a special purpose entity which capitalized through financial contribution. Third party in this is project lending banks. Why? Because this is project huge, lots of money. This is developed or making an infrastructures in the society. The most build, operate projects are funded to a big extent by commercial debt. The bank will be expected to finance the project of non-resources. Other lenders اللي هم special purpose entity might have other lenders will participate to the project contracts. The special purpose entity has only limited workforce. Build, operate, transfer model. Build, operate, transfer model we can define is typically used to develop discrete assets rather than a whole network, and generally entirely new greenfield in nature. Contract, build, operate, transfer. It depends on the all infrastructures at the society. Whatever water, electricity, education, health. This is project private sector to take this is project from A to Z, starting a building and making a building and put it in machines and tools and operating this is building and finally transfer all this is project to the public authority. So from this is project, private sector have lots of character or advantage or benefits from this is project. Why? Because the private sector operating and have revenue from this is project. And also in other sides, the project is financially viable for the private entity because a revenue it should to cover the expenses to the private sector. In other side, الcompany أو public authority أو government أو executive authority have excellent project أو develop infrastructures especially إن هي بتعمل saving للfinancing and budget of the state. Characteristics of build, operate, transfer. Characteristic of build, operate, transfer. Firstly, when we talk about the parties of this project, the host government, الكونسيونير, a third lender's bank. يبقى lender's bank to give it the debt of the private sector or private company in order to have the revenue. So in this is project, it should to cover all the debts from this is project. Also in the private sector, to put it all finance or to finance whole the project without any support from the government. Third, build, operate, transfer contract have lots of relationship between parts. Contract between host government and private sector. Contract between private sector with lenders bank. Contract between lenders bank with third person اللي هي public administration. Fourth characteristics of build, operate, transfer. Any build, operate, transfer related to all infrastructures in the society. And this is projects or البوجي or risk and all a responsibility for the private sector and a public authority to transfer all responsibility and risk to this sector. Finally, the BOG format can be applied to any sector to the economy, but it has been used widely in power plant sector, transportation, and telecommunication. Advantage of build, operate, transfer projects in a private sector or private firm have efficiency and have lots of expertise, assets, tools, machines, and have innovations in selection of design and also to help the public authority for development all infrastructure projects and also to help lots of business opportunities for local private sector. Finally, to help facilitate transfer of technology by introducing international contractors in the host countries. Finish the advantage of build to operate transfer. Now we are talking disadvantage. Build to operate transfer contract have lots of disadvantage. High transaction cost, not suitable for a smaller project. This is projects, it depends on the finance. Finally, projects are successful only when substantial revenue. Forms of build to operate transfer projects. After BOT or build to operate transfer model, second model BOOT or build on operate transfer. This is model or this is type build a private sector or private firm build this project and own the project and operating and transfer. Or another meaning, during the concession period, the private company owns and operates the facility with the prime goal to recover the cost and have all revenue and to pay the debts to the lender banks and maintains while trying to achieve higher margin on project. Second form of build operate transfer or BOT, BOO, build on operate. This is project ownership of project remains usually the project company. This is framework is used when physical life on the project coincides with the concession period. This is for application or applying at project the water treatment plants. BTO, build transfer operate. This is for when private sector design and build the facility transfer to the public owner takes place at the conclusion of constructions. GBO, design build operate, where the ownership is involved in private hands and the single contract is let out for design constructions. Finally, الBLT اللي هي build lease transfer, private sector build and making lease of this building, and if the finish the time of this contract transfer to the private to the public authority. Under PLT, private entity builds a complete project and leases it to the government. And second, on this is way the control for the project transfer from the project owner to lease. يبقى in this case becomes أو بيكون هنا private sector بعد ما كان owner بيبقى هو lease أو lease وبعد كده next transfer this is project. Or another words, the ownership remains by the shareholders but operation, purpose and leased. Thank you very much. See you inshallah في new lectures. Goodbye.